This is a culinary tour of Vietnam. Beginning in Hanoi in the north, we travel to Ha Long Bay, Hue, Hoi An, and finish in Ho Chi Minh City in the south, with lots of food along the way.
Sunday, June 1st, we made it to Vietnam. We're at the Hanoi airport, hoping to get our pickup ride to the hotel.
We made it to the hotel after spending 18 of the last 24 hours on airplanes. In Vietnam, we are millionaires. This is 2 million Vietnamese dollars called dong, which is about 100 US dollars. At our welcome dinner, we are shown how to assemble the ingredients into a spring roll. There's lots of different food to try. After dinner, we walk back to our hotel. Along the way, our guide takes us to a typical beer hall where you can buy a glass of beer for 25 cents. This morning, we are going on a food tour where we eat street food and visit markets. This is our guide. Our first stop is for soup, very popular for breakfast. You select the ingredients to be added to the broth. Next, we're going to visit the markets. Our guide buys some mangosteen for us, a tropical fruit that is both sweet and tart. Here our guide tells us about fetal duck eggs with a baby duck inside. Next, through the meat section. That's intestine for making sausage. In Vietnam, all parts of the chicken are eaten, from the head to the feet. Our guide explains that you can't eat taro raw because it makes your mouth itchy. Now we are in the seafood area. Crabs and mussels used in soups, frogs, These rice crepes are filled with ground pork and mushroom. You can also get them with shrimp or chicken. we get to try all three kinds. Now we're heading out to try more typical street food. We stopped here and had a sweet potato and shrimp fritter. Served with basic dipping sauce. Now it's time for dessert.
Chestnut, tapioca with the coconut, longan with the lychee family,
Oh,
lychee family, lotus seed,
Sure.
yellow bean, taro,
Yeah.
pomelo with the yellow bean, corn,
Yeah.
and young sticky rice and banana. So when you eat that, you can mix some of the ingredients you like.
With the tour over, I decided to just wander around until it was time for the next activity. Motorbikes of all kinds are everywhere in Vietnam. This not only makes crossing streets difficult, but also walking on the sidewalk, since bikes are routinely parked there. We are at the Hanoi Cooking Center, where we will help to cook our dinner. We watch the chef, and then we must duplicate his steps at our own workstation. For the banana flower salad, take off the outer purple leaves. While the duck and quail eggs are simmering, it's time to stir fry some chicken. This is a hard-boiled fetal duck egg, and you can see the baby duck. Quail eggs are smaller but similar to this. We each eat one, served with ginger. My least favorite food here. Now we're cooking up the spring rolls. After all the work, when it was time to eat, I forgot to take a picture. This is Ha Long Bay in the Gulf of Tonkin, where we'll board a cruise ship where we'll spend the night. That's our ship trying to dock. There are thousands of limestone karsts and islands, and according to legend, they were created by dragons to protect the Vietnamese from invaders. We went to an island to see one of the caves. With the help of our guide and a whole lot of imagination, one can see dragons and other creatures in here. After passing through the last chamber, at the top of the formation, we see a lake. Then it's time to head back. Another way to explore the bay was by kayak. It's happy hour on the top deck as the sun sets. Dinner is served. Early the next morning, I'm enjoying the view from the top deck. One of the crew shows us how to turn vegetables into edible artwork. Our visit to Halong Bay ends as we head back to the port. We're driving back to Hanoi. Along the way, we stopped at a farm to see the herbs and vegetables used in cooking.
And right here, this is the season where we're growing some of the beans and peanut. So this is the peanut tree, and peanut coming from underground, as you can see here. Over 3 months, you can see peanut coming out here like this. And the fresh peanuts, we're going to chop this one. Very earthy onion. Strong. We believe that onion is the natural Viagra. So this is the Vietnamese mint. This is a very small leaf, spikier than the Thai mint or Chinese mint. Vietnamese sage.
Okay.
Know about it. Have a smell. This is for you. Right over here, Vietnamese coriander go together with every dish. This is the dry spinach. We have 2 types of spinach, where the body is smaller, the bigger one is the water spinach, and stir fry.
We are almost back in Hanoi, where this afternoon we attend a demonstration of a traditional tea ceremony. Hot water is poured into and over the earthenware teapot to warm it. Then the water is drained and the tea is added. While the tea is steeping, the cups are prepared. The larger cup, called the king cup, is where the tea from the teapot is poured. The smaller individual cups are filled from the king cup, as this ensures an even distribution of the flavor. We are about to board our overnight train to Hue. There is no way to sleep with the train literally bouncing you out of the cot all night. In the morning, we learned that our train will arrive late. Instead of taking 12 hours, this ride went on for 15 hours before we arrived in Hue. We are going to see some of the historic sites of Hue by motorcycle. Our first stop is at a Buddhist monastery. We have lunch here. It's a vegetarian meal: rice crackers, salad, soup, and dumplings. It was a big lunch. On to our next stop. This is one of the royal tombs of the Nguyen dynasty. A popular place for wedding photos. Dressed in traditional garb, this couple will probably be married next week. A view from the top of the steps before we enter the gate. Once inside, our guide tells us that this king died after ruling for only 7 years and wanted a simple tomb. Inside the temple, there are several lakes on the grounds, and across from here is the actual tomb. The lakes are full of lotus flowers, a symbol of purity and the national flower. The tomb is behind the wall. Across the bridge is our last stop, a courtyard filled with stone elephants, horses, and mandarins, the upper class. At a roadside shop, she is making incense sticks. Mark takes a turn. Overlooking the perfumed river is the Thien Mu Pagoda. The tower with 7 floors symbolizes different reincarnations of Buddha. The marble turtle is a symbol of longevity. A temple guardian at the entrance gate. The main sanctuary. We are going for a cruise on the Perfume River. We board this boat with its dragon-shaped bow. Water buffalo grazing along the shore. We'll get off here and walk to the Imperial City, a walled fortress and palace in the former capital of Vietnam. We enter the Citadel Gate. After crossing the bridge, we enter the Great Rites Court, where the Throne Palace is located. We are at the residence of the Queen Mother. The pillar is decorated with broken ceramic rice bowls. Now we're going to the Royal Library. Also decorated with ceramic mosaics, it is where the books and important documents were kept. Outside the Imperial City, this man-made canal provides water for the fields and has flooded many times. This bridge was originally built in the 1700s by a childless dynasty to help the people cross the canal. Our motorcycle tour and our visit to Hue comes to an end. This morning, we are driving to Hoi An. About 80 miles away, it is a 4-hour drive. stopped at this beach resort for lunch. We walked down to the shore. This is the South China Sea, also known in Vietnam as the Eastern Sea. Leaving the beach behind, we cross a pass on our way to Hoi An. Hoi An is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a trading port dating back to the 15th century. We are on a tour of the Old Town. This is the Cantonese Assembly Hall, established in 1885. It was a place for Chinese fishermen and traders to rest temporarily and to exchange goods. This dragon is made from chipped pottery. In the back is a 9-headed sea serpent statue. The ram statue is a symbol of the Cantonese province. This is the Japanese covered bridge built in the 16th century to connect the Chinese and Japanese neighborhoods. This dog guards one side of the bridge. We walk to the riverfront. The large fishing net is suspended to keep it untangled and lowered to catch fish when the time is right. A short walk from the riverfront is a bar where there are 2-for-1 drink specials. The rest of the day is free, and we spend it wandering through the markets. Later that night, we meet for dinner at an all-you-can-eat restaurant.
We're in a unique restaurant here in Hoi An. Ben Riel. They feed you food rapidly and you better eat it fast. It's unique and it's very good.
The owner. This is the open-air kitchen. This morning, we're going on a bicycle tour through the countryside of Hoi An. We stopped to watch the workers in a rice paddy. Visited a working farm. We were shown how to water the crops, and we each got to try our hand at watering. Now it's time for our cooking class.
Rice paper with veggies, spring roll, shrimp, and pork.
Next is pancakes that need to be wrapped in rice paper. These dumplings are really hard to form. The chef helps with presentation. We also made this salad. It's our last day in Hoi An.
I don't even know what town I'm in, it's so hot. Hoi An. It's quite warm, not even near noon yet. But yes, we had a banh mi sandwich. One was so hot that my gums were burning, but it was good, very tasty.
We went to the riverfront, hoping it would be cooler. This woman just finished her shopping, and for 25 cents, she let me take her picture. We've arrived in Ho Chi Minh City, formerly known as Saigon. Motorbikes are everywhere. As a matter of fact, our bus and a motorbike collided. The rider wasn't hurt, but it took a while to remove his bike from under the bus. This is the War Remnants Museum, dedicated to the Vietnam War. Many restored pieces of American military equipment are on the grounds. This guillotine was used for executions until 1960. This is the Central Post Office, a remnant of French colonial times. It was designed by the famous architect Gustave Eiffel. This is Notre Dame Cathedral, constructed entirely with materials brought from France. There are monitors and fans throughout the church. We did a quick drive through the commercial center of the city on the way to our hotel. The view from our hotel room. The same view at night with the lights on the building changing colors. We are having dinner here. The specialty is Vietnamese pancakes, a crepe-type pancake filled with pork and shrimp. Walking back to the hotel, we stopped to watch the kids in a martial arts class. This morning, we are leaving the city for the Mekong Delta. We stopped for a banh mi sandwich. Crispy chicken and pork are among the choices.
Yummy, no. I just got bread.
Our tour of the Mekong Delta begins here. Life in the Delta revolves around the river, and many of the villages are accessible by rivers and canals rather than by road. We enter one of the canals to see the floating market. Each boat sells just a few types of produce. You can tell what they are selling by the produce that is displayed on a tall pole at the front of their boats. Now we'll see some local cottage industries. The first step in making coconut candy is to get the coconut out. We are shown the old method, and the quicker, modern way. The juice is heated and flavoring is added, and we get to taste it. Next we try rice wine and snake wine. This woman is making rice paper. And there are racks of it drying. To make puffed rice, a bowl is filled with sand and heated. Then the rice is added. The hot sand heats the rice and it puffs up. They're rolling out rice candy, and we get a few more samples before it's time to go. We are spending the night in the Delta and heading for our homestay. Leaving the canal, we cruise the river and stop at an island where we have lunch. There's red snapper, okra and other vegetables, and spring rolls. The fish is placed in the broth, and when it's done, we have a huge lunch. Back on the boat, we are nearing our homestay, where a family of 3 generations live. We took a walk around the garden.
This is a jackfruit. Inside there's all these little kind of fleshy chunks with seeds in them. Pretty tasty.
We're going for a boat ride. We each wear a traditional conical hat. In these boats, the rower maintains a standing position. we transfer back to the bigger boat. We are each given a coconut.
Good. Coconut water, I guess.
We return to the homestay, where our hosts have arranged a musical performance. He is playing a one-stringed instrument. We help prepare dinner in the kitchen. Dinner is a Mekong Delta specialty of elephant ear fish and all the trimmings. This morning, we are returning to Ho Chi Minh City. Those are luxury resorts. Back in the city, we have a little free time for sightseeing on our own. We stopped at a park. We stopped in the market. Then it was time to return to the hotel. This afternoon is a pedicab tour where we ride through the streets of the city. Our tour takes us through the historic Chinatown area. We go through small streets and alleys. Notice how the driver brakes. We stopped at the Quan Am Pagoda. Since our guides don't speak English, we didn't learn much about the pagoda. The garden has an artificial pond with a miniature island. This is the Tien Hao Temple. Porcelain figures from Chinese religion and legends are on the roof. These spiral incense coils can burn for 3 months. After 4 hours of touring, it's time to head back to our hotel. Tonight is our farewell dinner, and we will be cooking with Cam Van, known as the Julia Child of Vietnam. She's written about 40 cookbooks and had a cooking show on TV. We each prepared a sauce for the fish that we wrapped in a banana leaf for cooking. Next, we make a salad. We're also making soup.
And we prepare the soup, add some fish sauce. And now, first, we add some garlic. No. Yes, when you smell the flame of garlic very fast.
Yes.
You smell? Yeah. We add. You have a cook at your home every day? Not every day. Oh, why?
It's another huge meal. Time to say goodbye to our host in Vietnam. Really? All this stuff is coming on the plane with us?